Okay. Hello, everyone, and good evening and good afternoon, and in some cases, good morning, because we are having people joining from around the world. Thank you very much for joining us for our first Startup Grind X Newcastle here in the Northeast. Excited to be here as we believe the northeast of the UK is watching a very big boom. Actually, it's been happening for the 5-7 years, I would say, even 10. But obviously, with coronavirus happening last year, actually a couple of years now, things have accelerated, and Newcastle has proved that it has a very booming ecosystem, and we're here to help and support. So what we do is we have events like this where we get people that support founders or actual founders themselves to go through their journey and the lessons learned and connect basically everyone. So the first part of our event, we're introducing Steve, that you can see on the screen as well. He is from the Roadmap MBA. Actually, it's his child, and I've been always fascinated with his mindset of growth, and he has very specific actions and plans in place, and a very good podcast. So without further ado, I will leave the floor to you.
Cool. So what I'm going to do is, this is my setup for when we talk and I help facilitate the session. So I'm going to move some microphones, switch cameras. Hopefully people don't mind. It'll be just 2 seconds just whilst I do different things. 1 second. There we go. And just, there we go. Can people see me? They can hear me, which is cool. So what is in... Perfect. It's just I'm constrained by space when I have to use my mouse to help. So I apologize for the housekeeping, but we're good. So hi, my name is Steve. I've known Tam for a little while. I'm really delighted to be here and help with this event. And what I wanted to do, almost as the local partner, is to share a story with you, just to kind of walk through, which hopefully you might resonate with. I must admit, Tam's had a quick sneak peek about what it is. And then what I'm also going to do is share the 3 main things which a lot of startup founders and people kind of get wrong or struggle with over time. Myself, my background, I'm a chartered mechanical engineer. I'm very good at solving problems, and just today I was working with a $4 billion technology firm in South Korea, yesterday with investors in the US, and I work with a lot of SMEs and founders in the UK as well. Basically, I'm very hands-on, very good at problem solving, but I rarely kind of apply that to business. So something I'll touch on is the Roadmap MBA, and if you Google www.roadmapmba.com, you'll find out more. But this session is all about you, so I'm going to go through some quick stories and try and give some value, and I promise, Tam, I will keep to time as well. So how many of you kind of relate to our hero in a story? Everyone is always the hero of their own story. In this case, it's often the founder in a business, but you could also be at any point in your career. Many of us have a quest that we are on. This could be the passion and the mission for our businesses that we look to launch. In the Star Wars example, obviously it was to save the galaxy. But the point is, we all have an idea, we all have a quest that we want to chase. At first, things seem easy. You have your goals, the sun is shining, everyone is happy. But then over time, challenges come, enemies appear, and then we have things to do with trying to raise capital, competitors appear, the market shifts, COVID happens, and things really happen which can kind of throw you off your stride. As founders, and also, this includes me as well, I launched the Roadmap MBA officially in February. It's now in 13 countries, and that's just in 16, 17 weeks. But what we're trying to do is really make business education accessible and really help a lot of people with their own kind of journey. But the reason I share this is that because I'm a practitioner, so my day job is as a management consultant, and people hire me to do this. But also, I'm on my own journey. I've got my products and my stock, and I'm actually on a very similar journey to many of you. And actually, because of that, I hope that I can relate. And people always think it's easy, but it's not. As you go through your journey, you will also develop your network. You'll find some new friends. And one of the big things that I'm very passionate about, which I know a lot of the community is as well, It's all about personal development. It's the way to actually help you build new skills and new experiences to help your startup or business or NGO or whatever it is kind of be successful. And actually, it's what these new skills bring and what they allow you to do. They give you your lightsaber. They give you your tools to really help you kind of tackle the world. And then when your enemies turn up, and these could be internal, such as fear or doubt, or you're not sure what to do next. But also, you might struggle for funding or your competitors shift. I always treat business strategy as a puzzle that you can solve. I have a Rubik's Cube just over there. But actually, often it's never just one thing that you need to solve as a business to really be successful. And that is as true, if not more true, for founders and startups and people. And again, you also get haters. A lot of people will say, why are you funding this startup? Why are you doing this? Why don't you just get a job? And you need huge kind of passion and actually conviction to follow your dreams and do what we're all kind of doing. And I love that in the build-up, there's people from all around the world on this kind of call. And it doesn't matter if you're in Somalia or the US or Chile or Manchester or Newcastle, we're all kind of on the same journey. And things like blockchain and tech can really bring us together regardless of how kind of far apart we are. One of the things that a lot of people do fail, you do get a lot of startups. I don't quite know what the stat is, but it's a huge amount fail within the first year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. And often it is because many of them are unprepared. So across my weekly podcast and live streams and that kind of thing as well, I interview different business owners and we talk through different things. But because I have a very wide range of skill set with companies that make physical stuff, I have a background in offshore energy, I'm very good at identifying the gaps, but making it the real world angle to help kind of founders move forward. And off the back of this, basically it prepares you for battle. You're ready to kind of go into war with your startup and just help, give you the tools to kind of be successful. So what I'm going to quickly do is go through 3 really quick things. And it's the concept that I think will add value to what you're trying to do, just to help kind of prepare you all for battle. So Tam, I even picked a purple pen just for you. So the main thing that most people get wrong.
Yes, sorry, Steve, before you start, I think we cannot see the right-hand side from your board.
Tam, I think it depends on the ratio that you have your monitor. So if you have full screen, you can't see the right-hand side. If you shrink it up, you get the full landscape. Is that cool? Please tell me if not, that's, so on my screen, I have it half monitor just to get the full width, but I apologize. Hopefully that will fix it. I'll do the best I can, but that might fix the problem.
Sure.
So with most startups, people look at where they are today, and then through marketing and sales, they say, okay, this is how you accelerate your company. But the one thing that almost everyone gets wrong, and this is true with startup books and founders and everything you've ever basically thought of, is that very, very few people take a step back and actually look at the strategy. Is what you're doing and is what your founder, your startup wants to do, is it the right thing? Is your positioning correct? And get the fundamental strategy correct before you start to accelerate. Most sales courses and that kind of thing only focus on moving forwards, and not many people actually go backwards to review the strategy. And this is where a lot of businesses go wrong generally. That's a big focus of the Roadmap MBA. The next is actually to do with if you have a mountain that you're looking to climb. At the top, you have your CEO, or in this case, the founder. And I have this big thing where basically everyone has a skill set that you can break down into 8 different things, which over the course of your career, you develop into this really good skill set where you're really good at all the different areas from finance to sales to strategy to management. And that makes you a really competent, skilled founder as you go through your career. But one of the areas where a lot of people struggle is they bring new people into the business, more junior, and the truth is they don't have the skill set. They don't know how to sell. They don't know how to manage people. And a lot of startups fail because they struggle to upskill the team to really help them progress, if that makes sense. So actually just the ability to train up your team is a massive thing which will make a big difference for a lot of businesses. And then last but not least, it's basically execution. most people really struggle with poor execution in terms of their business to actually execute on their strategy, management, marketing, sales, and those kind of things. So within the Roadmap MBA, we basically teach these things. We have a buy one, gift one initiative because accessibility is really important to me. So for me, anyone from anywhere in the world, no matter what your financial background is or anything else, you can apply for a free course if you can't afford one, and I send them out all around the world. And if you're on this kind of call and you'd like to find out more, but maybe you can't afford the price of the course and you get a whole 12 months worth of support and stuff, we give away courses for free, and that's to help good people and help the community grow. And it's something that I'm just very passionate about. And then likewise, back to the Star Wars, you know, we all need to know and decide how your story is going to end. Will you raise funds, get through your different seed rounds? Because actually a good solid strategy will help massively in helping your startup or tech adventure or blockchain adventure kind of be successful. So my name's Steve. I appreciate that was a few minutes. I'm sorry about the ratio thing, that it is what it is. I'm really sorry about that. But no, thank you for your time. I'm really, you know, glad to be involved. Tam will always help however I can. And I think that's me.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Steve. We just need to mention again the giveaway that
Yes.
you graciously agreed to do. So can you walk us through it?
Yeah, of
please?
course. So with most MBAs, as you know, cost $40,000 to $100,000. Take 2 years, take out a lot of time, but a lot of people are very time poor. So there was a big rise in alternative MBAs, and there's one by Seth Godin. There's one called the Power MBA, which you've probably seen around, which is £800. I'm not sure what the currency locally is. Basically, at the moment, the roadmap is $399. That's British pounds. But for any members or anyone involved with these calls with Startup Grind, we agreed to go 50% off, so it would be half that. And again, what you also get, it's not just the one course for you, and that's 12 months of support, but you also get the opportunity to gift one to someone else, and you can either choose who that person is or gift anonymously to someone else on the call that might, you know, want to benefit and really, you know, gain the skills to benefit. And then what you get is that you get a 216-page textbook, which Tam has and Mohamed has, or certainly in the post. There we go. And basically what it does is teach you the real world skills to grow a business. There are hundreds of videos online. We have communities, we have classroom sessions. This is my kind of setup. And so, yeah, so it's half price to everyone. In theory, it's a quarter price if you go halves and we donate one, or you go in with a friend. And then just to get in touch, speak to Tam. He will arrange it all, keep track of things. And, you know, I'd love to go on this journey with you. And then please connect with me regardless. And I'd love to just, you know, get to know people as well.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so just as a reminder, we will just ask to claim this specific offer. They will just write to tamer.shadid@startupgrind.com. I will put it in the and we will be able to arrange. It's just a case of making sure that we manage the flow of people who need help. So thank you very much, Steve, and I definitely love the Star Wars theme.
I'm reading books on business storytelling, and basically the people on the call are on their own journey. And I just wanted to relate it, that we're all on a different challenge, and kind of make it fun. But I'm sorry, I went slightly over on time.
No, sure. And talking about storytelling, we also have Helen Simmons. She's in the chat. I see her, and hopefully we'll get to connect with her in the networking event on 6 o'clock. But she's also very passionate about storytelling and making everything really speaks about it. Yeah, great. Thank you very much, Steve. I think now it's a good time to introduce Mohamed. Steve, if I can ask you to please stop the video so we can give the floor to Mohamed. Hi, Mohamed. Can you please unmute yourself?
Hey, guys.
Yes, there you Yeah, great. Thank you very much for joining.
Pleasure. It's an awesome time to be. I'm grateful to be here. Thank you, Tamer. Really, I know it's your first event as well, so thanks for that. It's like great honor, pleasure to be here. Honestly, as a fellow Egyptian as well. So yeah, thanks.
Exactly. No, sure. It's a pleasure for us because I've been following your work basically around the world. It started with Flair and their awesome products and potentials, and obviously went a lot beyond that. So I wouldn't talk much, but please tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into internships, and why did you start your own business as well as supporting people like Flair and the Hyperloop and all these kind of exciting stuff. So please go ahead.
So for me, it's kind of like I'm gonna try to make it short. I have a very diverse background. I studied business and economics actually, and I did my master's degree in real estate development, and I did my bachelor's in business finance, and I did my minors in economics and political science, international relations. I actually studied all my life here in Egypt. So I've lived all my life in Egypt. Right now I'm in Cairo, by the way. So for everyone to know, I'm in Cairo, Egypt. Based out of Cairo, actually. Pre-COVID, used to travel a lot to Dubai and London, but post-COVID is just Egypt right now. And I'm actually on the verge of opening up our new co-working space, my brother and I say our because my brother, my twin, he's usually my co-founder in everything, so we work together. He's the other me, which is a benefit, I think, that a lot of founders would find very helpful at times. I sure do. So I'm very grateful for that. We both studied business. We both graduated from finance. I worked in banking, advertising, management consulting. I've always grown around. Always grown up around tech, and had a keen interest in tech. And back in 2016, my brother and I, we started doing our own thing and investing in different companies. We had a small limousine company that we started here in Egypt, pre-Uber and Careem. We actually had some of our fleet work on Uber and Careem and utilize the app when it was operational. It used to add a revenue stream to like when we had it that time, it used to be very beneficial, but it was very interesting. And I think back in 2017, I wanted to do a ride-hailing app. We have one right now here in Egypt called Swivel. It's one of the biggest and one of the fastest growing in Africa. And at the time, they were still starting. And since we were in the limousine industry, we had kind of like a good input on like the infrastructure required, the drivers network, and so forth. But this is where my tech journey started, really, because I wanted to build my tech team. I didn't want to go for a company to like give them an idea and start like doing some freelance work and so forth. I started the journey of looking for a co-founder, a tech co-founder, and I couldn't find one in my immediate circles. And that's when I started getting into blockchain. One of my friends was doing an ICO in the UK, and he told me about the idea. And I, before that, I was actually been reading about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but never really like invested or did anything in crypto. Then the ICOs as an angel investor personally, and being involved in the startup ecosystem here with like Rise Up and the different communities here in Egypt, through mentoring and so forth, that kind of like made sense. The ICO model, like it was a very interesting model for an angel investor. And I started looking into that, and that's kind of like my introduction into the blockchain. I started looking into the technology itself, and me being me, liking to research everything and study anything before I get into it. I started studying about blockchain, reading up, and started understanding the technology. Since I'm not from a tech background, I kind of like had to kind of like learn a lot, and I got certified as a solutions architect. Then I got certified as an instructor, and I always focused on the technology from the perspective of like from a business perspective, how can we use this technology to disrupt our business model? How can we create new products that are going to be have like a real world application for it? And that's kind of like been my focus. I became a speaker in our space. It just happened to be by chance. I met one of the organizers from the Future Blockchain Summit in Dubai, and back in 2018. And we started having a conversation about blockchain and the kind of like outlay of the market at the time. And he kind of liked the ideas that I was saying, and he told me like, not a lot of people are saying what you're saying. I would love to have you on a panel discussion on investment in blockchain. And I went, and that was my first time speaking on a panel discussion. And from that, I spoke afterwards in Tokyo, in London, and New York, and Dubai multiple times. And right now I guest lecture at the Heriot University at their Dubai campus for their postgrads on innovation management and like business strategy amid the fourth industrial revolution, new technologies, and so forth, but always focusing on from a business perspective, because I don't claim to be a tech guy. So I'm still learning, and I'm building my arsenal there. But definitely, this is kind of like how my journey started. And I met Hugo back in late 2017, early 2018.
Hugo of Flare Networks, yes.
Yeah, the co-founder and CEO for Flare Networks. And at the time, it was called something else. And I really fell in love with what they were doing. And I joined up with the team. I became their head of BD. I've always had a knack for business development. That's my forte, strategy, business development. So we kind of saw the synergies, Hugo and I, and I've been on board the team since then, really. And I'm very, very proud of what we've been able to achieve. I know Josh is in here as well, our VP for engineering, very dear friend, a very dear friend, awesome guy, I love him. He's swamped, so I'm very grateful that he's able to be here with us today. I know he's swamped with everything for network launch, for mainnet. So good luck, Josh, and good luck everyone on the team. I know it's a critical time for us, but we're very confident, very proud. So yeah.
It's clapping in the messages. Yeah, so let's stop you there, please. Yes, because we want to get it back a little bit and just explain what is blockchain for other people that are not aware. What is the basic definition of the technology, and what's the difference between it and the cryptocurrency and how they're connected, and obviously why Flare Network is really changing the world one day at a time.
Well, first of all, like blockchain in its like simplest form, I would say, is a distributed ledger that like records a state of an asset at any point of time, just any form of asset. And that's kind of a distributed ledger where, like, I mean here, like everyone on the network, and depending, of course, on the types of blockchain, but let's say for argument's sake, it's just public blockchain. Everyone on the network is with equal rights, and everyone has the same copy. And I would say that like the easiest and most famous example of a type of that blockchain is Bitcoin. You know, like it's a blockchain. It's a distributed ledger where everyone on the participants or on the network has a copy of the ledger, and it records at any point of given time who owns what amount of Bitcoin at any point of time, essentially. And so that's kind of like what blockchain is. Cryptocurrencies are one application that use blockchain, and it's by far the most widely known because of ICOs and STOs and IEOs and all the abbreviations that you can think of. But initially, it's kind of like an initial token offering or a coin offering, essentially, of a project. And really, each token differs from the other, really, in terms of what utilities they offer and so forth. And that's kind of like brings us to kind of like Flare and what we are doing. So Flare is the first FBA Turing complete network. And what that means in just English is FBA is a form of consensus, and there are proof of work, proof of stakes, where we're using FBA that's similar to Ripple and Stellar, but we're also the first people to make it compatible with EVM or the Ethereum virtual machine, and you're able to run smart contracts. So think of Flare as a scalable smart contracts platform. And we created something that we call the F-asset system, which is a system that allows for the trustless and keyword trustless representation of any type of asset on top of the Flare network to engage with, interact with all of the smart contracts or the applications or the apps that are deployed on top of Flare, really. We went live, or we went public with what we were saying back in August, and we announced our airdrop, our Spark, our native token, essentially, to be airdropped to all of the XRP holders. And we started our public campaign on getting like the support for the airdrop. And I'm very happy and very humbled by the amount of support that we were able to get globally in terms of like the support for the airdrop. And just beyond that, the amount of ecosystems that have been interested to engage with us as a company and to engage with us as a network to build bridges and to have their assets represented on top of Flare through the F-asset system.
That's what I was saying as well, is that the ecosystem was really supportive, and every couple of weeks you hear about a new app or a new partnership, which is really great, and hopefully it will keep going. And we just heard
I'm excited about it because really what Flare brings to the table is we say we unlock value, and 65% of the dollar value of the like blockchain, like in crypto, is locked up in assets that don't have smart contract capability. And what Flare does is that it adds to their ability to get more value out of their own assets, essentially. So they become more efficient by allowing them to extract more value through what they had before, essentially. So like communities like Doge, like Litecoin, XRP, Stellar, these are big communities that have a big market cap, but have never had the ability to utilize that value more. And that's what Flare brings. We are not a replacement for anything. We just bring more value to any ecosystem that we work with. And we're happy that our ecosystem, and what I call the Flare ecosystem, is not just made up of people who support Spark. It's actually an ecosystem that encompasses a lot of amazing ecosystems, like the XRP community, like the Doge community. So I'm very happy, and I'm very excited to be part of this right now as well in our space. It's exciting.
Yes, yeah, that's great. So you were just talking about the good stuff and the successes. Can you please share with us a couple of challenges regarding the technology, or specifically for Flare, if you wish?
I would say I would encourage people to always like the more people that get into like the development side of our industry, the better, because we need skilled developers, we need skilled software engineers. I think Josh can attest to that. We're always looking for skilled engineers and software developers to join up, and for any tech company as well. I know especially post-COVID, opportunities have become really borderless. You have companies who are going completely virtual and work from home. That opens up opportunities, really. So the challenge is the amount of people who work in blockchain or smart contract developers or skilled smart contract developers are not a lot, but the projects are a lot. So it's a numbers game. And as well, it's an opportunity as well for people. And there are a lot of ways out there to really start preparing yourself for being involved in this ecosystem, in this industry. And I think there are a lot of opportunities, and you should definitely look into it as someone who is, anyone who's interested in tech in general, so should start looking into what they can do with blockchain and how they can get into this ecosystem as a whole, because there are usually, most of them don't require you to go to an office. So you're going to be able to do it remotely from anywhere. Like look at like Flare, for instance. I'm here in Egypt. You have people in the US, you have people in Israel, you have people in the UK. You have like really distributed across the globe. So it's no longer just one place. So yeah,
Okay, so let me jump on another subject regarding the public speaking, because you've been talking to different conferences and different people around the world. How would you say you developed this, would say, confidence to talk to people about something like this a little more will be a lot challenging for other people?
Well, first, I never claim to know something that I don't. You know, like I don't like. I always stay true to myself and to what I know, and I acknowledge that there is no way to know everything. So you're always learning. You're always open to new ideas. And I actually got into public speaking because I enjoy speaking since I was in university, really. And for me, it was I enjoy networking. And we had a professor back at university used to say, you can be great at what you do, but have a mediocre network. You will never be the best or one of the best in your industry. But if you have a great network and you're not the best at what you do, you have a better chance to become one of the great ones in your industry just because of the opportunities you got through your network. So public speaking for me is kind of like, I use it as a networking, kind of like, I would say opportunity for me to start conversations and intelligent conversations with people within my industry, as well as like conversation openers with regulators as well. It's a great skill to have, and I definitely don't feel the same kind of like jitters today as I did as when I was first going on stage. I remember going on stage first time. I was at uni actually, and I was giving a presentation on street children, and I was proposing something as a reintegration for street children and how they can like rehabilitation and to reintroduce them in society and so forth. And it was that was my first experience. I was giving this presentation in front of like a panel of professors and like a group of people. And same thing happened to me when I was in Dubai. It was since it was a new thing. I've been studying it, yes, but there are others as well who have like really done investment in the space. So it was really kind of like for me building that kind of like, not just building confidence, but just have belief in what I've researched, what I've read, the conversations that I've had, and I'm always open about my ideas. I'm not shy about sharing them. It's not because I know I'm right. It's because I like to test my ideas against other people's ideas, and I love constructive criticism. If someone finds flaws and wrong bits and pieces in my discussion or in my talk, I love for them to come and say like, hey, I found this, and argue with me. Like, I love it. It really builds, as long as you have something like say, I disagree, and you have a reasoning behind why you disagree. I would love to listen to your reasoning, because it just adds to whether I'm right or wrong. If I'm wrong, then I need to go back and start researching. And it's an ongoing process of learning.
Yes.
You never stop. It's
Always.
just, you never stop.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, Steve is just saying networking is so. That's correct. So definitely,
I would definitely agree with Steve.
Yes, and hopefully we'll be doing a special event, especially about networking, because it's so much of a big subject, and people sometimes don't know how to focus on it and where to find the right networking, because it's all good and fine when you have lots of events around you, but our time is very important, so we need to focus, especially for founders.
I would say one of the key skills that like I would say founders and people in general need to have is just put yourself outside of your comfort zone. Put yourself out there, get out of your comfort zone, and because in networking, you have to be outside of your comfort zone. You have to be able to just walk up to someone and say, "Hey, I want to discuss this," and start talking just random people. And in conferences, it's a great skill to have because you meet so much random people, so many random people at a conference, and a lot of them are useful connections to have. Like, it's always good to have someone somewhere. You never know when you might need that. Really, I have my network has people working in banking, working in logistics, warehousing, working in procurement, supply chain, transportation, and the government, definitely the banking sector. It, like, you never know. Now that I'm in tech and in blockchain and just in tech in general, you can never say that tech is just, it's a pure industry by itself. Today, we are an infrastructural layer in all industries. So you're dealing with people in agriculture, you're dealing with people in manufacturing, you're regulators on a regular basis. So you need to be able to be quick on your feet, really.
100%. It's not an IT department anymore. It's like literally tech is everywhere, and people need to know how to connect it to the real day lives. Yes. Yeah,
I would say there's no time for feeling like not comfortable about talking or sharing ideas, like, or being wrong and just putting yourself out there. The world is moving too fast today.
Exactly. That's true. Learn fast and action faster. Yeah, that's true. That's good. So I wanted also to ask you about what are you currently doing in Egypt and Singularity, if you want to share whatever is ready. I know this is something.
You can always share the name. We're very close to announcing a few things here. So we're right now doing we're opening up our co-working space, as I was saying earlier. We're excited about that. It's physical co-working space. I'm gonna be using it kind of like as a hub for tech and blockchain. And for me, I like impact when it comes to social impact and economic, like financial inclusion specifically, because being in Egypt, these are the kind of like things that we deal with on a social level, and the problems that we see here within society. So I'm trying to kind of like see how we can bridge blockchain, because not a lot of people are still educated about blockchain here. I know you attended an event earlier, Tamer, with me before, and you saw kind of like where they are from where the technology is. It's kind of like we're still kind of like a bit behind. But I think once we have kind of like a few, I would say, clarity on how we can implement this in our ecosystem or within our jurisdiction, I'm excited to see what it will do, really, because Sharia compliant DeFi is going to be something that I would be very interested to see in our market. For instance, our culture allows for DeFi to exist. So I would love to see how it's done through blockchain, really. But I would say, other than that, one of the projects that you just mentioned, Singularity, I don't publicly talk about it yet. So what I'll be sharing, it's okay. What I'll be sharing, it's a new fintech that we're working on, and it will be a full financial ecosystem, really, for businesses and personal use alike, that will allow you to manage your financials from a like fiat and banking perspective, and your digital assets as well. So that's kind of like what I'll be able to talk about. We are the crypto side. We're not focusing on for our launch market because we're launching in Egypt, but we are launching our crypto product globally. Fingers crossed, coinciding with our network launch. So, but there's been a lot of work. We're announcing very soon, within the next few weeks, actually. We're going to have our press release announcing our partners here in Egypt and exactly what we're doing here. I'm very hopeful. It's a game changer. And yeah, a lot of people are talking about the next big thing, but this is the next big thing. So I'm excited about it.
Oh no, definitely good luck, and I won't poke more into that. But we were talking in general in the blockchain industry when you're trying to like hit the regulators and the government's acceptance of products built upon the blockchain. Can you share with us, like, something like
that? So actually, I've been very lucky since back in 2019. I was a speaker at the World Youth Forum that takes place here in Egypt. It's a very big conference towards entrepreneurship, youth, and a lot of like global issues, attended by our president, the whole cabinet, and a multitude of like dignitaries from across the world. Last year, last year, just we were all at home. Back in 2019, pre-COVID, it was attended by more than 3,000 people. Most of the cabinet was here, as well as the governor for the central bank. So I had the pleasure of speaking on blockchain, and I met with the governor of the central bank there, and I was invited to go back and meet with the team at the central bank here. And really, since the beginning of 2020, I've been working closely with the guys from the central bank here on different levels. None that I'm able to discuss openly, but what I can say, and I know that they've allowed me to say this, is they're not like pro crypto. They're not like crypto is still illegal in Egypt, but they are very pro of blockchain and the tech itself. As long as it's implemented in a compliant way. So definitely there are a lot of like clarity. There's a lot of clarity required on what compliant means. And that's what we're working on right now. And as well as like with the Financial Regulatory Authority here. So there is a lot of interest, I would say, in Egypt in terms of like blockchain tech, and the regulator trying to understand. I think they're taking amazing steps. The country has been going through aggressive, I would say, transformation phases towards a cashless society. Like MasterCard just announced that they're working with our new capital, for instance, and making it the first cashless city, completely cashless city in the world. And so I would say the government is very, very aggressive on going cashless and digital. And I think we're going to leapfrog using cards into just using digital wallets and so forth. They actually talked about CBDC as well. I don't know if you know about this, but they actually talked about a CBDC called the e-pound. Nothing public about it has been announced yet, but just its name, and they were like studying an initiative about an e-pound, which is a CBDC. For people who don't know what a CBDC is, it's a central bank digital currency, which is kind of like a digital currency or a stable coin that's issued by a central bank using blockchain tech. So
yeah, and that's exciting news. Yeah. Some countries have already started accepting it, and they are at least studying it. Yeah, so it's good to see that this is happening as well. So Steve is have a question. Do you feel blockchain requires government lobbying to make it mainstream, as happened with Uber, etc., with ride-hailing services?
I would say any kind of like I would say kind of like any kind of lobbying is really dependent on the app itself, because in the case of Uber and ride-hailing app, it was kind of like the function and the apps that service that. in blockchain, it's because you can build an Uber-like app on blockchain. So how are you going to lobby for blockchain? You know, all we can ask for is clarity in terms of like what are securities, what are utility tokens, because that differentiator in the types of tokens does differ and make a whole difference on types of like how you can make your issuance, how your token economics, your offering to your ecosystems, because all of blockchain depend on some form of cryptocurrency, kind of like for their ecosystem, but not necessarily for their platform to operate. Just making a distinction in general. Not all technologies require a cryptocurrency to exist. Putting it out there.
Exactly.
There has to be true utility for why there is a crypto
currency. Yeah, exactly. And that actually a good segue to asking you about what other applications can be combined with blockchain, for example, like ML and AI and all that.
I would say personal identity. I would say gaming and digital assets. Like we today are talking, like the world is talking about NFTs and digital art. So like certificate of ownerships, you can use it in logistics, supply chain management, authenticity. You can use it in education. There are a multitude of ways really where you can use blockchain outside of crypto, and none of those like systems require crypto really to operate. So it's I think the more people or the more governments understand what blockchain is and regulators start understanding the technology itself, the more they're going to be able to allow for its use while regulate use cases as they come along, because that's how it's always been really. You cannot regulate a tool. It's very hard. You cannot bring a hammer and say, this is the law of using hammer. No, you can just say you cannot kill and you can build. And you obviously know, you just, if you can use a hammer to kill, you should not do that. You know, like, that's what it is.
Yeah, thank you for this. So another question from Andy Johnson: how is the energy use of blockchain example would it be efficient for food traceability?
Well, essentially you're talking about proof of work, proof of stake, and you're going to be talking here about how they go for consensus. But if it's a food traceability and it's a private chain, most probably it would require consensus to consume that much energy that you would see. It's going to be very energy efficient, actually. So if that's what you meant by your question, and if I got it correctly, because not all blockchains consume that kind of energy that you think, or that the media is talking about with Bitcoin, for instance. That's what your reference.
It's
if
not
that's the reference to the question.
Exactly, because I remember I worked on one of the projects that we actually use RFID, just scan codes to make the traceability and track everything really. So it can be done. We hope it's the correct answer, what he's after. So could blockchain prevent accounting fraud?
That's a very broad question. Like it depends on like how you're going to implement it in the system. Like what, what kind of fraud in which system are you talking about, and what are you trying to eliminate? It's a very generic question. Yes, but like given the right parameters and how it's going to be applied. What benefits of blockchain compared with other applications? I think it's just what type of applications actually use blockchain and what they can do other than other blockchains or other applications can do. And I think it's inherently what you're trying to, which function or what you're trying to get, because blockchain is not useful for everything as well. Like it's not a magic stick that you'll use to transform your business into completely something different. Sometimes it will be very bad for you, or just costly to go and use blockchains. You don't need it. It's just identifying what kind of application you want to use blockchain for, and then start looking into whether you actually need blockchain, and then that will answer whether it's more beneficial for you to use blockchain or not.
Yeah, exactly. Because it depends on the sector and how broadly used by suppliers, for example, to complete the whole consensus, right? Yeah.
I think it's more like blockchain today. It's a tool that people can use to build different forms of applications in different ways than the traditional way. That has its value, like its pros and cons. So with anything, you need to kind of like understand what you like, or just identify exactly what you need to do, because blockchain is specific. Like, it's not useful for everything. Like building an email using blockchain, for me, it's kind of not very useful. But it allows you to do crowdfunding using like crypto and blockchain is very useful. It's a very useful. So I think just depending on how you use it differs.
Of course, like everything else, yeah. So Andy is. I was thinking of a cauliflower that is grown once and eaten. Does the chain of that vegetable exist forever and consume energy long after the food I'd eaten?
It's essentially, think of it more like when you're buying your cauliflower and you want to see where that cauliflower was grown and which farm and which packing facility, and till it got to your shelf, then it got to your home. Really, that's kind of like when people talk about supply chain transparency, specifically when it comes to pharmaceuticals. A lot of pharmaceuticals today are looking into using blockchain for the traceability of the supply chain for the pharmaceutical industry, because of to combat counterfeit drugs in the market, and see how they can kind of like police that in a way.
Yeah. Great. Thank you very much. We're almost at the top of the hour, but would you like to say a closing word and like takeaways for people regarding, first of all, doing their own thing and following their dreams and starting a business and taking.
I would say don't be afraid to fail. Just don't. It's a very normal part of success, like just the regular thing. And you will get so many no's and so many people that don't believe what you're doing or don't understand it, or tell you that, like, I actually got people telling me when I first got into like blockchain and crypto and all that, people tell me like, it's a scam. You're gonna lose your money. It's a scam. Like they're just like, yeah, they're frauding people of their money. Like, what are you doing? And yeah, they didn't understand it. And I think it's a common thing that you'll find in your life, and don't get that negativity, and it's just noise. Just cancel it out. Be true to yourself. Be honest with what you have and what you lack, and work on what you lack. No one's perfect, we are all a work in progress till the day we die. So just take that mindset and go for it. And like, sky's the limit. You're your own worst enemy. So as long as you keep that in check, you're able to go forward with anything, really. And be grateful to any support system that you have, whether it's your family, friends. Keep them close. You'll need them at times, definitely. So, yeah.
That's good. And keep grinding. Yeah.
Keep grinding. Exactly. Yeah. Keep grinding.
That's my favorite hashtag these days. Yeah. Great. Thank you very much. So I think we will stop the recording now, and then we will start our networking event. Thank you very much, Mohamed, and maybe we can get Steve to join for bye.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yes.
guys.
Yes. Great. Thank
Hey,
you very
Steve.
much, both of you. Steve, I wanted to actually ask you, how did you find it? I know that you're a guy, but how did you find the session?
But I'm a chartered mechanical engineer by background, and I've worked in aerospace and oil and gas and different things. And I've been to blockchain events in the past. And one of the big things which is really interesting in energy projects is traceability, also true in aerospace. Because if things go wrong, the ability to track back has real value in a way similar to the cauliflower, but maybe higher value. But I think, there's things like that which are really important. And what I'm also keen to do just as an entrepreneur is just to find out what else is out there, because actually it can be that skill set that could make the real difference. It's that tool which I could use. That I love that. But likewise, just meeting people from different parts of the world in Egypt and that kind of thing is building your network. So everything Mohamed said, I really agree with. And it's just, this can be the first event of hopefully many, that people get to know each other and then the relationships start to build, and it's, it takes time. But no, I thought it was really interesting, really, really good.
Perfect. Great. Thank you very much. I will stop the recording
Thanks,
now,
guys.
and we will go to the networking event. Thank you.